Let us solve for the mean deviation of this set of data as shown on the table. To solve any statistical question, we need to know the formula, and when we know the formula, that is what is going to determine the content of the table. So we are going to first of all identify and write out the formula for mean deviation. What is mean deviation? Mean deviation is simply the arithmetic mean of all the deviations taken as positive from the mean of the numbers. So if you have a set of numbers and you want to determine the mean deviation of this set of numbers, first of all, we'll get the mean of those numbers and then also get the mean of the deviation of each number from the mean. So the formula for mean deviation solution is mean deviation represented with MD is the sum of, since this distribution has a frequency, the sum of the product of the frequency and the deviation from the mean divided by the sum, which is sigma f, the sum of the frequency. This x minus x bar stands for, x stands for the set of numbers, while x bar stands for the mean. So the difference between the set of numbers and the mean individually, and this absolute line standing for absolute value means the positive value of those numbers multiplied with the frequency before we sum. Okay, so that means that we need to also get, first of all, get the mean. The mean x bar of a distribution with frequency is the sum of the frequency, sum of the product of frequency and the numbers, that's sum of fx all over sum of f. We already have f, but we don't have x. How do we get x? X for a group data is gotten as the mid value of the class interval. It's gotten as the mid value of the class interval. So we are going to get the mid value of the class interval, and the mid value is gotten by dividing the lower class interval, the sum of the lower class interval and the upper class interval by 2. If you sum 10 and 19, you get 29 divided by 2 will give you 14.5. 20 plus 29 divided by 2 will give you 24.5. 30 plus 39 divided by 2 will give you 34.5. 40 plus 49 divided by 2 will give you 44.5. 50 plus 59 divided by 2 will give you 54.5. So this becomes our x, and from the mean we have the product of f and x, so we have fx. Okay, I'd say that the formula is what will determine what the content of the table will be, whether it will have 3 columns or more. So let's look at that. Fx is the product of the f, frequency, and the x. 1 times 14.5 is still 14.5. 3 times 24.5 is 73.5. 10 times 34.5 is 345.0. 2 times 44.5 is 89.0, and 4 times 54.5 is 218.0. So we've gotten fx. Then if we sum fx and sum f, we can now get our mean. The summation of fx, which is sigma fx, is equal to 14.5 plus 73.5 plus 345 plus 89 plus 218, and if we properly do that, we are going to get 740 as the sum. Then again we'll sum the frequency, and then it is going to give us 20. Summation of the frequency is 20. So coming back, the mean therefore is equal to 740 divided by 20 and therefore the mean is equal to 37. If the mean is 37, we can now get our mean deviation by subtracting the mean from each x and getting its absolute deviation. Then we can use it on this formula. Going back to our table, the next thing we need is x minus x bar. That is deviation of this individual x from the mean. Remember, we got 37 as our mean. So 14.5 minus 37 will give us minus 22.5. 24.5 minus 37 will give us minus 12.5. 34.5 minus 37 will give us minus 2.5. 44.5 minus 37 will give us 7.5. And then 54.5 minus 37 will give us 17.5. And we have gotten that. Then we need to get the absolute value of this set of numbers. The absolute value, x minus x bar absolute. That means the positive value of the deviation. Instead of minus 22.5, we now have 22.5, 12.5, 2.5, 7.5, and 17.5. Then we can multiply it with the frequency, because that is what the formula contains. The sum of the f times x minus x bar absolute. So we are going to have f and x minus x bar absolute. So 1 times 22.5 is still 22.5. 3 times 12.5 is 37.5. 10 times 2.5 is 25.0. 2 times 7.5 is 15.0. And 4 times 17.5 is 70.0. So when we sum, we have already summed the frequency. When we sum the product of f and the absolute value of the deviation from the mean, we are going to have, if we sum 22.5 plus 37.5 plus 25 plus 15 plus 70, we get 170, and that is it. So going to our formula, we are going to key in this 170 and 20 into the formula. So we can therefore say that mean deviation is equal to 170 divided by 20, and when that is done, it will give us 8.5, and then we have gotten our mean deviation. See you in our next class.